Welcome again to the Leading Force with our top organization in the country, Share and Care. With us once again, we touch with Mr. Jayan Shroff. Jayan bhai, we were talking about how well you manage your programs, your organization. Just tell us about how well you manage, how effective are the programs? Give us some insight.
Yes, what I would say is we have a process in place. It's not just me, the whole organization. We have an online process. First of all, I'll talk about what we do in US. We make people apply online and we ask for all the information, and then we have a committee of 10 people who evaluate the project. There is one coordinator and 10 people evaluate the project, and we score, and then we get together once a month and discuss, and in the discussion, if we have some questions, we write back to them, and the process goes on till we decide whether we want to give them the grant. Now the second thing is that we have worked for 25 years, so we have some data which in our mind and in our files also. So if we are building a classroom, for example, in one school in India, and somebody says it costs 10 lakhs rupees, the red flag goes up, because we know that the benchmark is 3 lakhs of rupees. And these are, I'm talking about rural India, not in Bombay. Yep. I'm not talking about Ambani school. So the red flag goes up. The second thing is, when we educate, we want to sponsor a student. If it is more than $100 a year, again the red flag goes up, because we have sponsored students in like 100 different NGOs, and most of them are in villages. So it goes from $50 to $100. You can support one child.
Per year?
Yes. The child stays at home, but you pay for books, uniform, shoes.
For $100?
Yeah, right. And and it goes on and on. So we have developed some best practices in our mind and through NGOs also. For example, right now what we are trying to do is we learn some things on how to teach math and science to the students, the abstract subject to the students. So we have documented the process, and as we speak, the Municipal Corporation of Rajkot has given a contract to one of our local partners, and they are training all the teachers from 80 or so schools on how to teach math and science. Similarly, we have workshops for how to do activity-based education for children between 3 and 6 years old. So these are the kinds of things we do, and we have a measurement system for some of the programs we have. Initially, when we were doing, our goal was to have 100% employment of children of 5 and 6 years old in whichever schools we were working in. So that was our goal. Then the second goal was to retain them in schools. So if they drop out, we were finding out why they dropped out, and if they needed supplementary education to be in schools, we are doing that. And we have gone as far as we found out that when the girls are 12 to 13 years old in a middle school, they would drop out. Yeah. So when I went to India some 7 years ago, I found in one school there were 2,500 students. This was in a village, large school, residential school, and there were 25 toilets, and the girls didn't have a separate toilet. So there was the reason. So when I came back, and fortunately for me, unfortunately for my friend, his wife had passed away, and he said he wanted to do something. So I said, build toilets for girls. And he gave a check for $10,000. I was surprised. He was at our place, and I said, this is what you can do. And he did it. So while we do education and all that, we are finding out reasons why children are not getting educated. The concept of this youth wellness camp came from that. Yep. Because we found, we found that the kids can't see on the blackboard, they can't hear, they have lice in their head, and these are small things. Yeah. So how could they concentrate in studying?
Absolutely. And on that, let's move on to Jayu. You are involved in the projects. Tell us that, with Jayesh bhai touched a little bit, what are the regions of India where you focus on when it comes to implementing your money?
One of the reason is, one of the thing very important is the education.
Correct.
The primary thing, if you can educate someone, it just opens up the whole world in front of them. So the basic things that what we take it as a granted, they don't have it. But education brings about vision for them, that how they want to have their lifestyle. Do they want the bread on the table? And it gives the employment to the education. So education becomes a very motivating factor. And of course, with the education, if you are not healthy, you can't learn. So the health is another important part. So we try to focus on health and education both.
And which regions of India you are focusing on?
We have been focusing almost all over the India without the race and the religion. We have gone as far as the West Bengal, near Calcutta's slums. And one of the organization I can tell you about, which is the Swanirvar.
Yeah.
And Swanirvar has, we have been working with Swanirvar for past more than 15 years or so. The Swanirvar started with one young couple. They have taken the children from the slums. But now the West Bengal government has asked them, because they became such a good model for the whole West Bengal, that we have these 37 schools. Why don't you just help them out? So it has come to the point that they even are not taking that many schools, because they have some few thousand students that they have been teaching them, but not just the students, but they also have a teacher training program. And it just goes on. And
do you face any kind of political resistance? Because sometimes they feel these NGOs may also become popular and control the will, the voting, the habits.
We haven't felt it that way, because Swanirvar was really originated in West Bengal, and Sher and Ker Foundation came to support them. So initially when we supported them, we really have been supporting them for last 15 plus years. So we don't drop them, because the little children, when they start the school, they go to from elementary school to the secondary school to the higher education.
And you don't get involved in politics?
We don't get involved in politics, of course not, no.
What is this School on Wheels?
School on Wheels and Science on Wheels. School on Wheels started also again at the same time. It was the first program which we started on School on Wheels was in Gujarat and in Rajkot area. And we worked with one of our very well-known NGO, Sister Nivedita. So Sister Nivedita joined the hands with Sher and Ker Foundation. It really came from Sister Nivedita, the principals, the Usha Benjani and Gulabhai Jani. They asked, to help out. And one of our founder members supported, and we brought the School on Wheels to the villages, because one of the things what Gandhiji has said, if the children don't come to the school, bring the school to the villages. So that's what it means, the School on Wheels. We go to the villages, the buses go to the villages, which is totally established and equipped with lot of things. We have the library, Science on Wheels school has, the bus has the laboratory, the libraries, the audio visual aid, and the School on Wheels is not just academic.
It's not just one single vehicle, it is multiple vehicles which come together to make a
School
on
and goes
wheels.
to the several villages. And it's not just academics that we give them. We give them the education on nature, education on ecology, education with music, the dance, the fun and games. So it becomes a little bit competitive also. So they have much more initiative. So one of the example I can give you on a Science on Wheels also, that is one young child named Arvind, I believe Arvind was the one. Rudabai was another one. That he saw some of the slides on a human body, and he saw the human body, and he got so much interested in that he started to work hard, he studied hard. He got a great grades in his secondary school, and he went to become a veterinary.
Wow.
So he is now a veterinarian, and now on a weekend when he doesn't work on a Sunday, he goes to some of these schools and he inspires the other students.
What an inspirational
The classic example that this young person who graduated goes there.
That's wonderful to hear. And Jayan bhai, talking about the vocational training that you guys impart, the computer, what that program or the organization you call PNR, and Grameen Techniki Kendra.
Right. These are the two model programs we took on, and they also let me go back. I would say in 1999, we got a grant from Lucent Technologies of Lucent
In
Foundation
New Jersey,
of $500,000. And they wanted us to implement some computer related programs. So we did one experiment in this local NGO or partner called PNR Society in Bhavnagar for mentally challenged, polio affected, mute and dumb students, and we did a program of computer literacy over there. And it became so successful that we expanded the program to include a lot of students. This was just for their society. So in 10 years, we trained more than 2,000 students, and they were all disabled students. But the transformation was so remarkable. These deaf and mute children, their family had neglected them. These were not children, they were like 18 to 25 years old. And their family had neglected them. All they could do is stay home and have a couple of meals.
Or they could go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, right, wrong direction. And we made, I would say about 80% of the deaf in Bhavnagar, we made them web designers.
How nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and so this program became so successful, and some of the letters we have, there is a book published about success of these students, and some of the students are making 50,000 rupees a month in villages. They opened up their own computer center to train villagers, and so this is a big success story, and that program is still going on. Now we are requesting them to get the out of town students and keep them in hostel, and we are supporting for $250 we can support one student to live in a hostel, because we have the infrastructure, so we want to use the infrastructure. So we are training out of town
Expanding
students.
onto the education side, taking on with Shruti, and we talk about the E2G as you nicknamed it, which is called Education to Graduate.
Educate to graduate.
Educate to graduate.
Educate to graduate. Right.
Expand on it. Tell us, what is it about?
So before I go about telling you about Educate to Graduate, just want to share a piece of information I just read this morning. We got a fabulous letter from one of the beneficiaries of this Educate to Graduate program. And this student has written in English, and I'm sure it took him a very long time to write that letter, and it's handwritten and it got scanned and sent to us. Beautifully written letter, and what a sense of gratitude this kid had towards Share and Care. Why? Because of this Educate to Graduate program. The premise of this program is to help all the students who graduate from 12th grade, and most of these students who are graduating, they have excellent scores in their 12th grade. So what we found out was that Gujarat alone, there were a high number of students who couldn't go to college. That's because their annual family income was less than $1,000. So the latest statistics which we found out about, I would say, 4 years ago, was that 5,000 students
5,000 students.
were denied that education because they
The money.
just didn't have the money. They're bright students, but they didn't have the money. So that's when Share and Care jumped in and said, listen, India needs these new leaders, because this is where you're developing the youth, and actually the bigger thing was to pull the entire family out of poverty. So we jumped in and we started supporting this Educate to Graduate program. What the program does is provides a loan scholarship. So we are not dishing out money to them. There is a sense of responsibility. And the beauty of the program is that the loan scholarship is given on a semester by semester basis. So there is.
So you watch the grades?
We watch the grades. There are people on the ground who are making home visits, who are monitoring these students. Suppose the grades are dipping, they intervene and find out that why the grades are dipping. Are there any other family issues going on? So a lot of times we have even gone out to help with the other family issues to make sure that this kid manages to sort of get better scores and stay in college.
And you monitor them all the way they get to the jobs.
All the way. In fact, our first batch graduated was 28 students, and every single one of them has got fantastic jobs, some with multinationals, and they're making very good money. I mean, their parents would have never dreamt of that kind of money, and they're so excited, and like we get letters from them saying that they'll make sure that their siblings go to college, and they help out their father and they help out their mother. So,
And every time such kids graduate with flying colors, they are a success story, inspires your organization to continue with the program.
absolutely.
I think it's brilliant, but hold on your thoughts. We'll be back
Okay.
after this break. Stay right there on The Leading Force with Share and Care. We'll be right back.